Hello and welcome to the video that outlines the hypothesis stage of your project. So what's your goal? I want you to be able to develop a hypothesis that outlines the goal of my active research project. And that's what we're working on and building towards. So these components are creating a project that's going to be expected of you if you do any social science courses at the university level. So first of all, let's talk about what is a hypothesis. The hypothesis is probably going to be the most important, 75 to 150 words. Again, I'm not counting. If you're over, it's fine. It's just a rule of thumb. But these are the most important words you're going to write in your project. The reason for that is pretty straightforward. Assignment number 1 was about what makes a good presentation. And you talked about the difference between it being interesting or boring. This is what your hypothesis does for your project. If the hypothesis is not interesting, if it's not clear, then it does not make the person who's reading the report or doesn't make them want to read it. So you have to make sure the hypothesis hooks the reader in, gives them a reason to say, I wonder if that's true, I wonder where they're going with this, and it allows you to draw them into your report. So it is going to be, even though there's not a lot of words there, we're only looking at a paragraph, it is something that you want to spend enough time on, because a poor hypothesis also will make a difficult project for you to actually complete. So keep that in mind. So what's involved here? For the components of the hypothesis, it's quite simple. What I would like you to do is, I want you in 2 to 3 sentences, summarize assignment number 2, your background research. So this is where you get the opportunity to hook them in. You can say something or report on something controversial that you read, or something that kind of goes against the norm, or something that really pops, really stands out and makes people curious as to what you're actually looking at. So 2 to 3 sentences, and that just pull it out of the background research that you've completed. You've already done it. That's where you're going to draw from. Next, rule of thumb, 1 to 2 sentences narrowing your focus. So the opening 2 to 3 sentences, you're kind of giving an idea that I'm dealing with healthcare, I'm dealing with the way seniors are treated, I'm dealing with abortion in Canada. Then you start to narrow things down. So the next 1 to 2 sentences, you use your mind map, which will tell you, you've got your branches indicated, these are the branches of my focus. So now you start to pull things in or narrow it down into a focus. So basically, you take the effort and work from your mind map assignment, and you summarize in 2 sentences, 1 to 2 sentences, what exactly, where the mind map took you to your specific area. And then finally, your concise statement that tells the reader what you hope to prove or disprove. And it's okay in this project if your statement, you end up disproving it. There's nothing wrong with being wrong here. There's no research grant in the end. So this is where you would go along and say that I believe that my math mark directly relates to the greatness of my math teacher, for example. I mean, that would be a very interesting report. I know at least one individual who would be immediately hooked on the topic. However, it gives you an idea, and this is going to come from, for those who are in the social science or have taken the social science, that hypothesis that you're out to prove something, okay? I believe that single-parent homes result in children that are more independent, okay? So it's that statement that we're trying to prove or disprove. And the wording, I mean, the flexible wording, I'm of course a math teacher, so the English is not that strong, so you can likely come up with a lot better format for your statement. But that's what you're doing. You're making that statement as to what you're trying to prove or disprove in your research. Okay? So very simple. All right, you've done all the research. You're not going out and making up extra stuff. I just want a nice 2 or 3 sentence summary of your background research. So that's from assignment number 2. I want a couple sentences about your mind map. What's your focus? What branches are you going to focus on, or what areas are you looking at within the background research? And then that final statement that I say, okay, So when I read this report, I'm going to see that that math marks are directly related to how wonderful and fantastic the math teacher is. That's what your focus of the data will be on, of course. So what's expected? This is what I'd like you to do. You're going to give me 2 copies of your hypothesis. So this is paper copy. And I want you to find 2 people to critique the hypothesis. They do not have to be from the class. They can be from anywhere, because you're really preparing a paper for some individual to read. So it doesn't have to be a classmate. I have classmates up there, but you can get someone that's in another class. You get an English teacher, whoever you want to look at it. But I'm looking for 2 people to go through and make the commentary. I would prefer it to be classmates if possible, because I'll give them a mark for their feedback and their opinion. Once you get those 2 the feedback, I want you then to clean it up and submit electronically your final hypothesis. So you'll send me an electronic file of your final hypothesis, and you'll submit the 2 paper copies that have your peers' opinions. And that would be absolutely fantastic. I would really appreciate that. So there you are. That's assignment number 4. If you have any questions, if you need help or clarification, do make sure you ask. And good luck with this part. Again, good hypothesis makes the research, makes the survey that much easier to create.